Hi everyone, I'm Jessica and I'm the creator of the Youniverse channel. And today I want to come on and introduce you to my good friend Aaron Doughty. My guess is that a lot of you are already really familiar with Aaron because he's in the same genre as me. So you've probably either seen some of his videos or are already subscribed to him. The reason I linked up with Aaron is because I think we were on very similar paths several months ago, about 6 or 8 months ago. We were both growing our channels very rapidly. We were getting a lot of questions from individuals on how to manifest faster and what could they do to accelerate their law of attraction process. So it just became kind of, as we became friends, it became kind of common sense that we would develop a program called the Law of Attraction Accelerator program. And I feel very fortunate to have Aaron as my partner in that venture because he's not someone that just talks the talk, he actually walks the walk. Being someone that has changed my own life using these principles and these techniques, it was very refreshing to be able to link up with someone who did the same and also to be able to watch him grow so greatly over the last few months. So it's been a lot of fun, not only to work with him, but to see his success in life also. So Aaron's going to give you 5 quick tips, things that you must get rid of in order to accelerate the law of attraction process. It's really good information. If you're not already subscribed to Aaron, check him out after this video. Go over to his channel and subscribe. And without any further ado, here's Aaron.
First off, I want to say thank you to Jessica for having me on the channel. I want to share with you guys some real potent content that I think can add a lot of value. So in this video, we're going to be specifically talking about 5 things that if we let go of, can accelerate the law of attraction process. Now, a lot of it, when it has to come to do with the law of attraction, we think of piling on these new ideas, like if we can just have a new perspective or maybe just really focus on what we want. And while a lot of times those can be something that's very powerful, the idea is that much of the time it's more about actually letting go of what doesn't serve, and how when we let go of maybe baggage we're carrying around, whether that be negative emotions or whether that be certain perspectives, when we let go of what really doesn't serve, things happen in a much more fluid and a much faster way anyways. So this video is going to show you that 5 things that if you give up will accelerate the law of attraction process and allow you to really attract what you want in the fastest way. Now the first one has to do with a negative self-image. Now, our self-image is controlling our life experience in the way that we will always subconsciously remain consistent to the way that we define ourselves. Now, so this means that if we see ourselves as only able to make maybe $50,000 a year, even if we have an intention to create abundance in our life and make $100,000 a year, unless we change the way that we see ourselves, unless we change our self-image, we won't actually be able to do that. We'll find barriers come into play. We find that maybe excuses resonate with us more because of that, and then we stop the process at a subconscious level. So this is what they call a cybernetic mechanism. There was a book that came out years ago that was called Psycho-Cybernetics. That was like a groundbreaking book back like 40 years ago. And it's something that I think can really change our lives when we understand the power of it and how we can start to see ourselves in a completely new way. Now, this is something that I went through personally years ago when I had a sales commission job. This is back in like 2011 or 2012. I was learning about the law of attraction. I worked in women's shoes at Nordstrom's at the time. And I remember that I went in and, I was focusing on making more money. I'd have a certain goal. I think it was like $3,500 to $4,000 I wanted to sell a day because we made 10% commission and that was like a good amount to sell. And what I realized is I'd always feel this resistance at a certain level, like anything over $2,500 for some reason. And this is what happened for me. The moment I became aware of what my self-image was and I decided to change it, the moment I did that and I went into work and I simply saw myself as a top performer, within the day that I did that, I started to perform at top level, and it was like customers would just come to me. It was like everything had more flow from that moment going on. And from that moment going on, I was there another like year and a half. I was one of the top performers consistently simply because I changed my self-image. So that's something that a lot of times is overlooked, but knowing that we will always do everything we can to remain consistent to the way we see ourselves, knowing that we can then become aware of what that self-image is, and we can decide to let it go and then be who we prefer to be by having that intention and wiring in the new one. Now, the second thing that we must let go of to accelerate the law of attraction process has to do with letting go of the outcome of what we want to experience in our life. Now, I go through this a lot because sometimes my intention is to create a certain amount of abundance in my life, but if I'm too attached to how it happens, that creates resistance. And anytime we have resistance in the process, it's almost like there could be opportunities around us at all times, but it's almost like we won't perceive them if we are feeling that resistance. So the idea is to understand how powerful it is that we feel like we're in a great state of being, and if we let go of the outcome and we simply trust that things will work out, the universe will support that and the universe will reflect that back to us. So this is about more so just having trust in the universe, having trust in a larger aspect of ourselves, and not thinking that our ego has to do everything in order to make things happen. Now, this is a game changer for me because a lot of times my ego thinks it knows what it wants, but the moment I become aware of what my ego is thinking, I become aware of that, then I can decide to trust the universe, and that's when things really begin to happen. So realize the job of the ego is to focus on what it wants, but it's not its job to figure out how things will happen. So if you trust the process, things will happen in a much easier way, and you'll find that from that, amazing things begin to change. Now, the third thing that we must let go of in order to really attract what we want the fastest has to do with letting go of negative emotions. So think of this in the form of, I always use this picture right here. This is from the book called Power versus Force that shows different levels of consciousness and how certain emotions are entangled within these little levels. So as you see towards the bottom, you have certain emotions, and as it raises up, it raises its vibration, you could say. This is also a very similar scale that Abraham Hicks uses, the same type of emotional scale. And what you'll see on it, and what you may notice is that, the bottom of it, you have shame, fear, guilt. You eventually move up to anger, which means that you take your power back, even though it would seem like something that would maybe blow the other ones. But if you're angry, you at least feel like you have a right to be mad because you're in a way taking your power back. But then you get up to willingness, you get up to neutrality. Neutrality is when you learn to observe your thoughts, which is why a lot of times we can transcend all the lower emotions, all the attachments we have to perspectives by simply neutralizing it, by observing it and not reacting to it. Then what you'll notice is that you eventually move up to more of acceptance, you move up to love and peace. And when you create from that higher vibrational state of being, amazing things will happen. So understand that what you can begin to do is to let go of the perspectives around the negative emotions, to be aware of them, but not be attached to them. Maybe somebody did something bad to you and made it so that it was hard for you to get what you want in life because maybe somebody did something to you. Maybe someone stole from you, stole an amount of money. Well, the way that you would let that pattern go to really attract what you want is to forgive that person, to observe it from a neutral place, and to realize that people always make decisions from their level of consciousness that they're at. So if someone stole from you, they probably have their own reasons, like their own beliefs in scarcity. They don't believe they can actually create the abundance that they want, whatever it is. And when you learn to neutralize or you learn to forgive in a powerful way, you let go of all the negative emotions, and then you can actually create what you want in your life. So we must let go of these negative emotions because we will always get a reflection of how we are feeling. And when we become aware to those negative emotions that might be on autopilot based on our perspective, a lot of times these can be blind spots, then we can really attract what we want because we're letting go of what doesn't serve, and we can actually be present to the moment and focus on what we do want. The fourth thing that you must let go of to accelerate the law of attraction process has to do with letting go of only giving ourselves permission to feel happy and to feel like we already have what we want when we actually accomplish it. So understand that the world is like a mirror. The external world, what we experience in our life, is a mere reflection of who we are being and what we believe to be true about ourselves. So if we are saying that I will feel happy when the external mirror looks a certain way, what we're doing is we're externalizing our power and we're giving ourselves permission to only feel happy when something on the outside happens. But what we can do, and the funniest paradox, is that we can choose to feel happy right now in the present moment, and we can choose to do this by breaking down whatever we want to create in our life, whatever manifestation we want, whether that's making more money, a certain relationship, to have a certain type of house, whatever it is. You can break that manifestation down into an emotion. Think of it. More money could be security, could be the freedom to do what you want. A relationship could be the connection and compassion that you'd want to have for yourself or for someone else. Having a house could be having more spaciousness or more luxury, whatever it is. You can break those manifestations down into an emotion, and then you can decide to feel that emotion regardless of what the outside looks like. Now, what this does is this allows you to resonate with the desires that you have, and as you start to resonate with it, you will start to see opportunities around you that you may have not seen before. And of course, those opportunities may have always been there. We just weren't tuned to it because we weren't feeling the emotions that are necessary. So this means, we can give ourselves the permission to feel happy right now. Sometimes we make a rule in our mind, right? When I get into the perfect relationship, I will feel a certain way. Then what we do is we put our happiness off until we meet that person. And when we meet that person, we give ourselves permission to feel that happiness. And the funny thing is, it wasn't necessarily them that was making us happy. It was us that was allowing ourselves to feel happy because we had them as a symbol in our life to show us that somebody is there, so now we can be happy. We can give ourselves right now in the present moment the permission to feel the way we want. And as we do that, we link ourselves up with those opportunities in our life, and we find that things begin to change in a very powerful way. Now, the fifth thing that we must let go of in order to accelerate the law of attraction process has to do with letting go of negative people in our life. Now, this is something that sometimes is kind of hard to hear, but realize that some people bring us down. And as a lot of successful people have said before, you are the result of the 5 people you are around the most. You end up becoming much like them. So if you're around people that maybe are very negative, or maybe you're talking about your dreams or some passion that you have in life, or how you're going to follow your purpose or your passion, and somebody's like negating that and telling you should just stay in your 9-to-5 job, you should just stay doing what you're doing because it's safe, you might want to start becoming aware of that and then deciding to put your eggs in the basket that actually serves you, or start to actually do things that really you're passionate about. You'll find that as you let go of people that don't serve you, you start to make room for people that really do serve you. This is something that I went through. I've let go of people that were kind of negative in my life, or people that were telling me or kind of like downtrodden what I was doing in my life, especially when my YouTube channel started to grow. And what I learned to do is, as I did that, all of a sudden, other people came into my life. Other YouTubers came into my life that I work with, that I'm able to have like a relationship with as friends, but also from a business perspective. And it's really cool because it's like now our success and like what we do rubs off on each other because we're surrounding ourselves with people that think in a very similar way. So that's something I've definitely noticed had a profound change on my own life. And by letting go of these 5 things, it's completely changed the way I see the process. It's allowed me to resonate with the desires that I have, and realizing that as I do these things, I am then linking up with opportunities in my life that maybe were invisible to me before, but also at the same time giving myself the ability to really just know that the emotions come from within. I can feel happiness right now in the present moment, that as I increase my own state of being, everything changes, and as I see myself the way that I prefer to see myself, I then find that things in my life reflect that change that I've made from within. So other than that, I want to thank Jessica for having me on the channel. I want to thank you guys for sharing your energy with me today. I hope that you guys gained some value from this video, and that you guys understand some things that if you let go of, could really accelerate the process. So other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.